On day 1, I spawned in as a zombie warden. Whoa, I guess I must be a warden who was revived into a zombie. What are the chances? I only had 6 hearts to start with, probably because I had just been brought back. I'll bet I can become a lot stronger than this. It looked like I already had the physical strength of a zombie and the senses of a warden. I could also perform a wicked sonic boom. Even after becoming a zombie, I've still got it. I realized that I was inside of some musty old tomb. There was a necromancer nearby who seemed to be jumping for joy.
Yes, I have done it! After so many tries, I have turned a warden into a zombie! Now my creation will serve me and do my bidding!
Whoa there, guy. I just got here. Don't I get to choose whether or not I do your bidding?
Free will? I guess I need to use a stronger control spell.
The necromancer started slinging magic at me. It was probably the control spell he mentioned. I didn't want to be controlled, so I started to run away. I ran off into a hallway of the tomb and found cover against the necromancer's spells. He was not happy about that.
You will serve me! Get him, Reaper!
An undead Reaper was summoned and ran towards me, chasing me, but I found a hole in the wall and squeezed through. On the other side were a bunch of coffins and gravestones. I guess I could rest here since I'm a zombie. I'll find a way out of this place tomorrow so I can stay free. On day 2, I took my first steps towards freedom and entered a forest inside of a cave. I thought that the way to the surface must have been somewhere around here. I could see perfectly in the darkness because of my warden senses, so I punched one of the trees and gathered enough wood to make a wooden axe and pickaxe. This forest was way bigger than I expected. I realized that I had no idea how to get to the surface from here, but I was determined to keep exploring this place until I did. I soon found out that I wasn't alone. There was some kind of warrior ghost floating around near a mysterious monument which was emitting a strong light.
Greetings! You must be another one of that necromancer's pawns, or at least you were.
I'm nobody's pawn. The name is Zozo, and I'm looking for a way out of this tomb so I can start a new life on the outside.
You're lucky you can move around so freely. I am ghost-bound to this monument, but my spirit is too strong to be controlled by that necromancer.
So he tried to make you his servant too?
Yes, but be warned, the necromancer was not the most evil thing in this tomb. There is a more ancient and deadly force living deep below, and it too may try to keep you here.
Good to know. Thank you for the heads up. I continued to explore the forest and ran into some cave-dwelling mooses. It was honestly a good thing because I had gotten very hungry. I'm eating mooses tonight. Or wait, is the plural moose or mooses? Or is it meese? Whatever it was, the raw moose ribs I got from the fight tasted great. It seems like most zombies, I've got an all-meat diet. On day 3, I found a wide-open cavern where I could start building an underground base. I can't be much of a warden without a place to ward. I mined some stone so that I could build a small shelter for myself. With the material situation sorted for now, I started to build myself a temporary tent-like base. I would need to get more materials before I could make a high-quality base, but this would do for now. I heard a sound behind me, and my keen warden senses told me that it was a soul eater. I fired off a sonic boom to tell it not to mess with me, but it seemed to only make it madder. The soul eater ran towards me and attacked. You're not getting my soul today! I fought back with my zombie strength. The soul eater was a tough enemy, but my sonic boom had weakened it before we got into melee range, so I was able to win the fight. I felt the souls that the soul eater had collected enter me and began to feel my power grow. My number of hearts doubled to 12, and I even became slightly larger. Later, with the rest of the wood I gathered, I built a fence around my shelter. On days 4 to 5, I searched the forest cavern for more materials to use for my base and to protect myself. I wonder if the entrance of the tomb has any materials that I might have missed. Even though it was risky, I went back in the direction of the tomb. When I arrived at the entrance, I found that the necromancer was there waiting for me. You again! I already told you that I won't be controlled. I am a free zombie!
You have no idea what is coming for you, Zozo. The Demon King promised me great rewards if I could build an undead legion for his army.
The Demon King? Who is that?
He has waited countless eons to make his return. This tomb was where the ancient heroes of the past sealed him away. But now that he has come back, the world will belong to him, and I will do my part to ensure that.
The necromancer cast another confusion spell, but I countered it with a perfectly timed sonic boom that stopped it in midair. Nice try, but I won't work for you, and I won't work for the Demon King. I blocked another confusion spell with my sonic boom and drew my sword. I ran toward the necromancer and struck him down.
You foolish zombie! You could have been on the winning side, but now you will pay the price for being a traitor!
He crumbled into dust, leaving nothing behind. On days 6 to 8, I began digging into the walls of the cavern so that I could find a way towards the outside. My brand new tunnel quickly turned into a mine, and I was able to gather a ton of stone. I built myself a full set of stone armor. While I was at it, I also upgraded my tools to stone. It was just in time because a pack of kobolds showed up right after to attack my base and try to steal my materials. I fired a sonic boom, which startled them, and then I hacked and slashed with my stone sword until I took down the entire group. I was starting to get the hang of the zombie warden fighting style, but I knew I'd be able to get even stronger. These upgrades are only the beginning. On days 9 to 10, I was in my mine when my stone pickaxe started breaking through netherrack. A few minutes later, I broke out of the wall and onto the surface. But the surface world was not how I imagined it. It was overrun with monsters. The entire landscape was filled with lava. Is this the work of the Demon King? If I was going to survive out here on my own, I was going to need some better materials. I looked around the dark landscape to see if I could find any. That's when I ran into the Demon King himself.
It is so good to be free. Or should I say bad to be free? Bad for you, that is.
You must be the Demon King. I'm the zombie warden of the tomb. Call me Zozo.
So, you're the one who defeated that necromancer and made me lose my undead army. No matter, I never needed them anyway. I will conquer the world without the undead.
He swiped his sword at me faster than I could let out a sonic boom. That one blow took out a lot of my health, and I could tell right then and there that the Demon King was too strong for me to defeat.
What's the matter, Zozo? Are you scared?
Yeah, a little. That's why I'm getting out of here. I turned and ran back towards my underground base. For some reason, the Demon King didn't choose to follow me.
Why would I return to the tomb I was sealed in? I have the whole world to destroy now.
When I arrived back at the hillside, I was surprised to see a familiar enemy. It was the Reaper that the necromancer had summoned to fight me. Back for more, Reaper?
Not at all. I came to thank you for setting me free from that spellcaster's control.
Oh, I guess we're cool then.
We're more than cool. I saw the way you stood up to the Demon King. Perhaps we can work together and take him down.
But I ran away.
You ran away a second more than anyone else, which means you're braver than you know. Besides, if we want to keep our freedom, we'll have to face him eventually. He'll send another necromancer to control us before long.
Point taken. I guess it's you and me, Reaper.
Please, call me Grimsley.
On days 11 to 12, I invited Grimsley back to my base and began to build another structure to house him. While I was at it, I popped my tent back up, then decided that wasn't enough. So I turned my tent into a watchtower. That way, I could observe what was happening on the surface while I was in my base. I spent some time out in the surface world gathering materials to craft new items. The surface world had a lot of warped stems, and I made sure to get as much as I could. I then proceeded to explore the area some more. I mean, who knows what I might find here? While I was exploring, I spotted a mob. It was headed my way, so I got ready for a fight. I blasted the approaching lava monster with my sonic boom, but it didn't do much damage. My stone weapons also had no effect on the creature at all. Oh no, I'm too weak. I need to get a better weapon and come back. I disappeared into the forest and retreated away from the battlefield. Using some of my leftover stone, I crafted myself a brand new mace for combat. It was a slow weapon, but it had a lot of power, and that suited me just fine. The next time I saw that lava monster, I took him down in one hit. Hooray! Now this is a weapon I can use! I decided not to stop there. The mace was great, but I could use a durable set of armor to match. Some iron tools wouldn't hurt either. I went back to my personal mineshaft and began to dig for iron. It didn't take me too long to find enough to improve my tools and armor level. I smelted the iron down and crafted myself a full set of iron armor and tools. On days 13 to 15, the ghost of the ancient warrior called me to his side and told me the tale of the Demon King.
100 years ago, The world was under attack by a demon king and his army of demons and monsters. The big evil guy had succeeded in uniting the demons, the undead mobs, and the two-headed ogre tribe into an unstoppable fighting force. The villagers and animals tried to stand against the demon king, but they were no match. It seemed that all hope was lost, until one day, the legendary heroes appeared. I was one of them. Together, myself and my companions used our legendary weapons to strike deadly blows on the Demon King, weakening him enough for our cleric to trap him inside of the tomb we now stand inside. It seems as though the seal held for exactly 100 years before being broken. I can only imagine that this is because there were no heroes powerful enough to use that spell in the modern day.
So you're saying that even you and the other legendary heroes couldn't defeat the Demon King back then, and then the only way was to seal him, even though it didn't last?
It's better than letting him rampage around and do whatever he wants.
I don't know. Even if there was somebody who could cast the sealing spell these days, would it even matter? It's like putting a band-aid on a broken sword. I'm sorry, but it doesn't sound like there's anything that can be done. On days 16 to 19, I couldn't find Grimsley anywhere in the base, even in the house I built for him. Grimsley wouldn't just leave without telling me. I better look for him. It was a good thing I was part warden, because wardens are really good at finding things. I wandered out farther than I ever had before, to a hill with dark grass and strange ruins on top of it. I spotted Grimsley, but he wasn't alone. There was another mob there, and it looked like it was wearing a magic robe. Oh no! Another necromancer has tried to capture Grimsley! I got closer, and I saw that I was correct. The cloaked figure had him enclosed in a ritual circle, and Grimsley was trapped.
Zozo, is that you? Help me!
Don't worry, Grimsley, I'll save you! I fired a sonic boom, which disrupted the necromancer's chanting. He got angry and fired some evil bolts at me. I circled around the hill, using the ruins as cover. I managed to catch him by surprise and wind up an overhead smash with my mace. See you later! The magic circle collapsed when the caster was defeated, and Grimsley was set free.
Well done, Zozo! I thought I was gonna be controlled again for sure!
Don't worry, buddy, I gotcha. Neither of us will ever be controlled again. This time, the Demon King won't have the help of the undead. We'll be fighting against him.
That's the spirit! Or should I say, we're the spirits.
Inspired by Grimsley's words, I felt myself begin to grow and change. My number of hearts increased to 20, and I also gained increased melee damage. Zombie-rific! It was just in time, too, because we were joined by a troop of knights. Their leader wore ice armor.
Freeze, undead servants of the Demon King! I, Sir Frost, will put you on ice.
It's cool. We don't actually work for the Demon King, and we're gonna make sure no other undead has to either.
Oh, pardon the misunderstanding then. I'll be off to continue facing his forces and searching for the legendary blade of demon sealing.
Wait, a blade like that exists?
We certainly hope so. It is said to contain the magic of the cleric who sealed him the first time.
Well, if you need any help, you know who to call. Me, Zozo. On days 20 to 22, I went back to the base, only to find it overrun with giant centipedes. All right, you bugs, prepare to get squashed. They were quick, but not very tough, so I used my sword instead of my mace. I figured this place needed a statue, one that would show those knights that allies could be found here, in the remnants of the Demon King's tomb. It would have to be brave and mighty, not to mention cool. Sir Frost will be so impressed that he'll make me his second in command. Plus, he's probably the modern-day descendant of one of those legendary heroes who beat the Demon King. That's how it usually works. I needed white and blue for the statue to really look like him, so I went to gather some dolomite and lapis. I managed to mine quite a bit of the materials I needed and went back to the base. With access to those materials, I could start working on the statue. It was really starting to come together and look like a base of something great. What do you think it'll be? While you're leaving a comment on what you think it'll be, don't forget to subscribe and ring the bell so you can see more of my amazing adventures. On days 23 to 26, the kobolds returned in even greater numbers. This time, they had some ranged weapons on them too. I guess kobolds were craftier than I thought. Fortunately, my melee damage had gotten stronger and I could easily deal with them. One of the kobolds I defeated dropped a bow and a quiver full of poison-tipped arrows. This would make a good backup ranged weapon for my sonic boom. Since there were no necromancers to cast spells on me, I took a trip down into the depths of the tomb. It looked like they had been taken over by a den of slimes and spiders, and they were in the middle of a territory struggle. Am I interrupting something? I cleared out the vermin and gathered up their webs and slime balls. Once I returned to the base, I was able to craft those materials into some leads. After I was done with that, I spotted another kobold jumping in front of my base and ran down to face it. Oh, hey, there's still another kobold back here. Back for another fight.
No way! I want to join you guys. The other kobolds were always mean to me.
Oh, I didn't know. Don't worry, buddy. I gotcha. I built a new house for the kobold and set him up with a workshop to make new weapons and gizmos.
Let me make it up to you by building some traps around the base for you.
On days 27 to 31, I returned to the forest and talked to the ancient warrior about the legendary blade that Sir Frost mentioned. Apparently, this blade can seal the Demon King away again. Does that sound like something that the other legendary warriors might have done?
It is possible that the cleric planned ahead and sealed one more spell into the legendary weapon. But I've been trapped here the whole time as a guardian ghost, so I have no idea what happened in those 100 years.
I suppose I'll have to go looking and see what the world is like out there.
The Demon King is most likely sending his minions to destroy whatever is left of the legendary hero's descendants. If you can find them first, one of them probably knows how to find the legendary blade.
Well then, there's no time to waste. Thanks, ancient warrior. I'm out of here. I journeyed out into the wilderness in search of the legacy that the legendary heroes left behind. I came upon a bridge over a deep ravine, which was guarded by a two-headed giant.
Just try to get past us. You won't.
Watch me. I shot a poison-tipped arrow into the giant and watched as their health started to get chipped away.
Why, you...
The giant charged right into the path of my swinging mace. Kapow! The hit knocked them back, causing them to stumble over the side of the ravine. The two-headed giant fell all the way to the bottom, but didn't disappear. I quickly ran across the bridge before they found a way back up. On days 32 to 35, I found a grove full of trees, and in it were a bunch of songbirds.
Hello, traveler. What brings you to this peaceful place?
My name is Zozo, and I'm here in search of a legendary blade that can seal the Demon King.
Oh, the Blade of the Cleric. This place was created by one of the other legendary heroes, so we've heard of it, but we're not sure where it is.
Darn it, this is still a very nice clearing. But wait, if it was made by the heroes, then... Just as I realized, the Demon King came rushing into the grove. He used his magic staff and destroyed half of the grove in one hit. Luckily, I'm here. Run away, birds. I'll distract him. The songbirds ran away just in time, as the Demon King was right next to me.
We meet again, Zozo. This time I'll destroy you.
It seemed like he meant it. He was immune to the poison of my arrows, and he closed in on me before I could use my sonic boom. Thinking quickly, I surprised him with my increased melee damage.
Impressive, but it will take more than that to defeat me.
I guess we'll find out next time. I ran off while the Demon King just stood there, laughing. But at least I lived to fight another day. Just as I got far enough away, I spotted one of the songbirds. I'm sorry about your home.
We'll be able to find a new home. You saved us, and that's what matters.
My base can be your new home.
Oh, sweet.
On days 36 to 39, I constructed an aviary where the birds could live as peacefully as they did back at the grove. Can you tell me anything else you know about the legendary heroes?
There were 4 of them in total. The warrior, the cleric, the singer, and the ice knight. The singer was the one who made our grove, and I hear that the ice knight founded an order of brave warriors who dwell in the snowy north.
That sounds like Sir Frost and his companions. I should go visit them.
The good thing about the north is that it's very well protected. The Demon King will have to spend a lot of resources to claim it. If there's another place where his forces can be resisted, it would be there.
Awesome! I should get prepared and make this alliance official. The undead can team up with the knights, and together we'll find the legendary blade. Then we'll show the Demon King who's really boss. But before I left to go explore the snowy north, I did a bit more on my statue. I felt inspired because I was reminded of Sir Frost. On days 40 to 43, another undead showed up at the base, and I welcomed them into the ranks of the resistance.
Hi, my name is Gabby Ghoul.
Welcome to the team, Gabby.
Thanks. I'm from the lower east side of the tomb, and I know there are some really good materials behind a secret door.
That sounds cool. Will you show us where the secret door is?
Sure, since you asked so nicely.
Gabby showed us the secret door in the lower east tomb, and sure enough, there was gold ore which could be used to craft some very valuable gold items. It was almost too good to be true, but it was true, and there was a warder there to make it a little less good. I did a sonic boom on the dangerous mob and performed a combo with my mace. It took a few more hits than most of the enemies I'd faced, but it went down just like the rest of them. Wow, there's a lot of useful stuff back here. I have some materials to give to the kobold trapsmith. I returned to the kobold and gave him all of the materials I collected. I'm sure he will make great use of them. On days 44 to 49, I traveled across the land until I reached the snowy north. If I were human, I'd probably have to wear a coat. Thank goodness I'm undead. The local mobs were completely different from the ones that I had encountered in the lands that the Demon King had ransacked. But just because they weren't working for the Demon King didn't mean they were friendly. A winged imp monster known as a Vex swooped from out of the sky and tried to take me down. That hurt. I guess it's time to get serious. I swung my mace at the creature, but it was too slow. It flew back up into the sky out of melee range, but that was a mistake on the mob's part because I used my sonic boom to drop it. I decided to travel deeper in and noticed more of these things, and also that they were attacking a poor Arctic fox. I drew my bow and arrow. I had the element of surprise, so I launched arrows into all of them. The Vexes were poisoned and defeated. That's when a fox approached me, looking very relieved.
Whew, that was helpful. Thank you.
That's what I do. I help people.
Are you part of the Ice Knight Order? I've been looking for them.
So have I. I need their help with finding a legendary blade.
The one that can seal the Demon King back? So it does exist. At least my village wasn't attacked for nothing. The Demon King's forces are there right now, looking for it. I need the knights to come and save us.
I guess we've got the same goal. Let's see what we can do together. On days 50 to 53, the fox and I traveled further into the snowing north, trying to avoid the prying eyes of the Vexes.
Maybe if we look around, we'll find someone who can give you a bit more information about the blade of the cleric. There are a lot of people who hate the Demon King, so they'll probably be willing to help out.
But the one person I didn't want to see was the multi-headed giant. He'd finally tracked me down, and he wanted some payback.
Is this a friend of yours, Zozo?
Yeah, something like that. I rushed in and unleashed my sonic boom, but he dodged the sonic boom and charged at me. I guess two heads are finally looking better than one. But I was stronger than I was all those days ago, and I didn't need only my sonic boom to fight my enemies. As the giant got closer, I pulled out my mace and jumped into the air. One strike of my mace to the giant's multiple heads, and he was defeated.
That was amazing. You're a real hero, Zozo.
I'm just a zombie warden doing his best. As Fox and I continued to explore, we found a mutant snow golem camping. Hey, Mr. Snow Golem, I'm Zozo, and I'm looking for the Sword of the Cleric. Do you know where I can find it?
Sorry to burst your bubble, kid, but it doesn't work that way. You don't just find the Sword of the Cleric. Legends say that when you reveal yourself to be worthy, only then will the sword find its way to you.
Oh, so I'm not a real hero yet?
You don't have the sword, so probably not. But you seem like a good kid. Take this protection enchantment. It'll help you on your quest.
Thanks, Mr. Snow Golem. I appreciate it. On days 54 to 57, I made the long and hard journey back across the map, then went underground to my base. I decided to apply the protection enchantment to my chestplate so I'd be able to withstand more powerful attacks easier. Afterwards, I noticed that the kobold installed some traps, a lava chest trap, a diamond door trap, and a pit trap. Hopefully these will never have to come in handy, but good to have them, just in case. Just then, Grimsley approached me with an important task.
Zozo, thank goodness you're here. Gabby Ghoul has gotten sick. I fear that it's some kind of hex caused by the Demon King. I can make a healing potion to help her, but I need you to collect some apples from the warped forest. It's a vital ingredient.
Don't worry, Grimsley, I'll be right on it. You stay here and tend to Gabby. I quickly went to the overworld and began exploring the warped forest until I happened upon some apples. I collected as many as I could, wanting to make sure there was enough for Gabby's healing potions. I went back to the underground base and gave Grimsley the apples.
This is perfect, Zozo. I have even more than I need. Here, take a few of these spare health potions. You never know when they might come in handy.
On days 58 to 62, I decided to take a load off and work on the statue after a pretty stressful week. Everyone needs a little relaxation time. Can you guess what it is yet? But just as I was about to continue my statue build, I noticed that a gang of demonic reavers working for the Demon King suddenly started attacking my base. Leave it to a guy called the Demon King to never fight fair. But I had an ace in the hole. As the reavers tried to ransack my base, they activated the different traps. A few fell into the lava pit, some more fell for my pit trap, and one of them even fell for my diamond ore trap. And even more were taken out by my sonic booms. I'll take on as many reavers as the Demon King can send at me. But I wasn't prepared for a sneak attack from behind from Grimsley, the Reaper, which knocked me down. Grimsley, how could you? I thought we were friends.
I'm so sorry, Zozo. We are friends, but the Demon King somehow reactivated the necromancer's control spell. I'm not in control of my own body. He is.
Grimsley, you have to fight it. I promise I'll help free you.
I'm worried you're already too late, Zozo. Just promise me you'll stay safe and don't follow me.
And with that, the mind-controlled Grimsley ran off. On day 63 to day 66, I took one of the healing potions that Grimsley made for me and chased him out of the base. Looks like he's headed for the warped forest. I need to chase him and snap him out of this funk. I followed him until I caught up with him in the darkness of the forest. It was just me and Grimsley facing off.
Zozo, I told you not to follow me. It was a trap from the Demon King all along.
That's when even more reavers came out of the forest to battle me. It looked like more than I could even take on. Grimsley, I need you to help me.
I can't help you, Zozo. I'm not in control.
You have to fight, Grimsley. You're not just a servant of the necromancer or the Demon King. You're your own person. I could see that Grimsley was struggling to regain control, and eventually, Grimsley snapped out of it.
You're right, Zozo. I am my own person. Now let's show these reavers that we mean business.
Grimsley and I fought off the reavers together. Between the two of us, those servants of evil stood no chance.
Thank you for never giving up on me, Zozo.
I'll never give up on a friend.
And as it turns out, when the Demon King invaded my mind, I also invaded his. I got a vision of a cave deep in the basalt deltas. We might be able to find something useful there.
On days 67 to 70, Grimsley and I decided we'd make our way to the Basalt Deltas cave together and take the fight to the Demon King. Do you think the blade of the cleric is in there, Grimsley?
Only if you're worthy. And look, that might be a good way to prove yourself.
Grimsley was gesturing to a huge, scary Wendigo that was patrolling the outside of the cave. He must have been another demonic servant of the Demon King. I'll go in first. Follow my lead. I ran towards the Wendigo and unleashed a sonic boom. It was more formidable than anything I'd ever faced before. Thankfully, I still had my mace. I pulled it out and hit the Wendigo several times as it roared and shrieked, but the attacks only made it angrier. Then, the Wendigo started fighting back. Every time it hit or bit me, it was knocking off heart after heart. It was terrifying. There was nothing I could do to stop it. I saw my life flashing before my eyes when suddenly Grimsley stormed in to save me.
Leave my friend alone, Wendigo, or you're gonna learn exactly why you should fear the Reaper.
Grimsley attacked. I don't know if he hurt the Wendigo, but he spooked it enough to finally run it off. You really saved me there, Grimsley. Thank you.
Just repaying my debt, Zozo. Now let's take a look inside the cave.
On day 71 to day 74, we entered the cave, hoping to find the blade of the cleric waiting for me. But no, the cave was empty, and I was devastated. I guess I'm still not worthy.
It's okay, Zozo. I'm sure we'll be able to find it. We just need to believe in ourselves.
We better start believing harder, because if we don't, then the Demon King is gonna rise to full power, and without the blade of the cleric, there will be nothing we can do to stop him. On day 75 to day 78, I returned to my base and decided it was time to upgrade my mace since it was about to break. So I did just that and crafted a new mace. Then I decided to supercharge it and applied the sharpness enchantment on it to improve its hitting power. Nobody will want to mess with me now. But that was wrong, because the Wendigo who'd gotten away in the Badlands suddenly appeared, and he was here for me. Unlike the Reavers, he wasn't tricked by any of the traps. He had my scent, and he was coming straight for me, with his teeth and claws ready. But this time though, I had my upgraded mace, and I was ready to fight back. The Wendigo squared up, and I hit him back. And after that hit, he didn't get back up. Because the Wendigo was so powerful, defeating him gave me a lot of XP, causing me to get bigger, stronger, and finally reach 30 hearts. I was one of the most powerful zombie wardens in the world. I was even starting to look more like an actual warden and became pretty buff. This is my coolest upgrade yet. That's when I had a vision. I needed to return to the snowy north. Something would be waiting for me there. Something I needed if I wanted to defeat the Demon King. So of course, there was no time to waste. On day 79 to day 84, I traveled into the snowy north until I found a fortress that looked like something out of my vision. And as it turned out, it was this fortress that was manned by Sir Frost and his knights, just who I wanted to see. I went to Sir Frost's planning room, where we began to discuss the thing on both of our minds, the Demon King.
I've spent my entire life preparing to confront the Demon King if he ever rose again. And in all that time, all that responsibility, I feel I've learned so little. All I know is that he'll likely reach his greatest power soon.
Then we should probably stick together. He'll want to get rid of all of us as part of his rise to power, but that'll be harder if we're working with each other. Come back to my base. We'll be safe there, Sir Frost.
You make a good point, Zozo. I'll prepare my things. We'll head off shortly.
On day 85 to day 89, I returned to my base to check on Gabigool, who had started living inside of my statue, and ask her how she was recovering from the hex that the Demon King had put on her.
I'm feeling a lot better now, Zozo. Thank you. And there's something I should tell you. I've been having visions lately. The Demon King, I know he's hiding somewhere with blue trees. Does that mean anything to you?
Blue trees? That has to be the Warped Forest. That's the only place that looks like that. Thank you, Gabby. I know where to find him now. On day 90 to day 94, I went into the mines and managed to get extremely lucky and mine my first set of diamonds. If I'm gonna face the Demon King, I need some extremely tough armor. I forged myself a full set of diamond armor, which would defend me against almost anything. And then I went about enchanting every piece of my armor just so that I would be as prepared as possible. Diamonds are a zombie warden's best friend. On day 95 to day 97, I finished the statue. It was the statue made in tribute to one of the coolest warriors I know, Sir Frost. He'd spent his whole life searching for ways to stop the Demon King, and looking at his statue, I knew I'd be honored to spend my unlife doing the same. The Demon King would fall, and it would be because of me. On day 98, all the preparations had been made. The last thing I was able to do was talk to my friends I'd made who were staying at my base. First, I spoke to Grimsley.
I believe you can do this, Zozo. With or without the blade of the cleric, you're a true hero, and you will defeat this monstrous villain.
Next, I spoke to Gabigool.
You're brave and kind, Zozo, and that will serve you well against the Demon King. Never forget that.
And of course, Sir Frost, the Ice Knight.
Are you sure you want to do this alone, Zozo? I would happily fight by your side, if you so will it.
Thank you, Sir Frost, but you've been fighting this fight a long time. Let me finish it for you. And if you want to help me, the best thing you can do is subscribe to Zozo and ring the bell to always be notified of the next adventure. On day 99, with everything said, I left the underground base and made my way deep into the horrors of the Nether. The first stop was the Crimson Forest, the only way to the Warped Forest Gabby had mentioned, where the Demon King would be waiting. That's when I saw something crawling out of the ground. It was another warden, just like me, except he wasn't zombified.
You worthless traitor! The necromancer and the Demon King gave you everything, and yet you rebel. You make me sick, you undead freak!
I'd rather be undead and free than alive and taking orders from the Demon King. The enemy warden tried to unleash a sonic boom on me, but I wasn't about to waste time on him when I had the biggest fish to fry. I unleashed my sonic boom, and the enemy warden was completely destroyed.
Traitor!
And with him out of the way, it was time to enter the Warped Forest and finally finish this thing. On day 100, I entered the Warped Forest and prepared myself for the fight of my own life. It wouldn't be easy. First, I had to deal with the Endermen. They kept teleporting around me, and it took both my mace and my Mega Sonic Boom to take care of them. It doesn't matter how much you delay, I'm gonna take on your boss soon enough. I thought I'd need to keep searching for the Demon King, but instead, the Demon King came for me. He floated down towards me, ready to fight.
You again? That little failed experiment that killed the necromancer. Are you truly foolish enough to think you can best me, the Demon King?
And with that, he began to grow, becoming a far bigger and more powerful version of himself than I'd ever seen. He had finally reached his full power. Even if I can't beat you, I'm still going to fight you, because what kind of person would I be if I didn't?
A living one.
The Demon King pulled out a powerful bow and started shooting me with it. I tried to dodge, but was quickly overwhelmed due to the sheer power of it.
Weak. How disappointing. Destroying you will be an act of mercy.
Just as I thought I'd be doomed, I noticed something had been added to my inventory. It was the blade of the cleric. My act of bravery had finally earned it. As soon as I equipped the blade, I saw myself growing, getting more powerful. I was bigger, stronger, and even had a mighty 50 hearts. There would be no stopping me now. Okay, Demon King, are you ready for a real fight? With the blade of the cleric, I attacked the Demon King, striking him again and again, forcing him further back into the warped forest, weakening him, breaking him down. I could tell he was afraid.
Zozo, wait! Clearly you're strong. How about we join forces? Imagine the power we could have together.
Nice offer, but I think I'll stick with my friends, Demon King. With one last blast of my sonic boom, the Demon King was destroyed and the world was saved. After that, I went back to the base happy to finally relax.